a daily mistake for me was I was unorganized, and as far as being depressed or anxious, I didn't have any clarity on um, my life in general, and you know, all I really knew what to do was just kind of be who I am, but there wasn't any specific focus, if that makes sense. What I did was I went ahead and got myself a planner. Um, well, what I actually first started doing was looking up time management because I felt like time, if anything, was the thing that I could control and that I could do a better job at controlling. So I started watching time management videos, and then I've watched so many in a row. I can't really like pinpoint the exact video where everything kind of just clicked for me. Um, I don't know if you guys watch The Office at all. So there's this episode where Michael does the whole Willy Wonka golden ticket idea, and then he gets in trouble for it, and then he tries to blame everybody, saying that he was just a net of your. He's like a subconscious net of your crappy ideas, and then it all just like. That's how I feel about with these time management videos. I just watch so many of them, and they just all kind of came together for me as one thing. So I got a planner. This one is Clever Fox, and I got it off of Amazon, and I really like it. So these are just pictures that I took. So there's one section where you actually have a whole month, and what I really like about it is that the months and the dates are blank. So you can't. So I don't know if I've done this before. Like I've tried planners that already have the dates in them. But what tends to happen is either I lose the planner or I don't write in it at all, and then I'm just like, well, I'm kind of done for the year. And like, so what's nice about this is you can. You can miss as many dates as you want, but the planner is still useful. So at the upper, it'll have the month area. You could put what month you're in, whatever, and then in these circles you fill in the dates. And then on the left side, it says, I don't know if you can see that, it says skills to adopt, skills. Maybe it's skills. No, maybe it's habits. Habits to adopt. Apparently, I can't see it. Habits to adopt. Skills to learn, things to avoid, places to go, and it just you do that on a month-to-month basis, and you have that picture in front of you of what you'd like to get done that month. And again, if you're starting, I wouldn't recommend like overloading it or overfilling it, because that kind of just sets you up for disappointment. And then in the next section, or a different part of the planner, you actually have the week to week. And what I normally do every day is I just write my schedule out, when I leave for work, when I come home, what things I'm going to do. So I feel like this was very helpful. I think for the whole year so far, I've only missed 3 weeks, just because I either didn't have time to schedule, or it was just kind of a weird week, where I was okay with not writing anything down. That makes sense.
Yeah. What did you say the name of it was again?
Clever Fox.
Clever Fox.
And I'll put that in the description whenever we're done here. And it's fairly cheap. I actually don't know how much planners normally cost, but just to have something that's blank and you just put it in um, by yourself, I think is really helpful. Um,
I
guys
like
have
some of the
any?
concepts of these, of this one that they ask you, the habits and skills you'd like to learn and things like that. I'm kind of lazy whenever it comes to planning. I don't like anything that's blank. I like it already filled out for me, what day of the week it's going to be, and all those type things. But I do like these concepts, integrating that into the planner that I have. I think I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah. What do you? So when you say it's already filled out, like,
I mean, as far as date, like all the dates
oh,
are
okay,
in.
I see.
Yeah, kind of.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
I don't like doing all that extra work. It's hard enough just to plan.
Right. And another nice solution if you don't want to spend money on a planner is just use like Google Calendar. I think if you don't have a phone, like if you have an actual computer to write stuff out, that's helpful. If you do it with your phone, your fingers just get tired so fast. And I would say ever since I've gotten this planner, I don't feel as unorganized, and I don't feel as like I feel like I have a lot more clarity in my life just having something telling me what my focus should be on for the week. Second mistake that I struggle with on a daily basis for a long time was just money management. I think it's so easy, especially this day and age where you have cards, but even more so you have like you can pay with your phone and stuff like that, and you just don't it's unless you're really good at keeping track with your money through that stuff, it's easy to lose track of how much you actually have and stuff like that. Before I got married, my wife and and I know a lot of people have different opinions on Dave Ramsey. I don't care for all of his opinions, but I do think he does a really good job with teaching you how to budget and what your main priorities should be within the first few steps of budgeting and getting out of debt and all that. What do you guys think of Dave Ramsey?
I was given his kit, whatever that thing's called, Financial Peace University, whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
I was given that as a wedding gift, but and a lot of his ideals, I think, are good, but they're just a lot of them seem impossible or impractical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because a lot of it is impossible to do.
Yeah, like there's one part when he's like I think he said like pay 25% of your house off, like cash down.
In this economy, you can look.
Yeah, and like paying cash for your car.
That'd be what, $25,000 down?
Right.
We have a lot of homes right now.
I wonder how he's adjusted that since then. And I mean, even like a used car now is way more than what it used to be back then. So those kind of things, like I don't really agree with him on now. And in the way our economy works is especially with like if you want to get a house or you want to get a car, you kind of have to get a loan these days.
I mean, if you want to get, unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars laying around, you have to have credit to buy a house. I mean, I don't know if you. I mean, I guess you could buy a house outright with cash. I don't know, but
right.
Not me.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, and he talks about selling your stuff, but again, at the time of this recording, there's a lot of financial hardships in the economy, and not a whole lot of people are buying stuff. There are a lot of people selling stuff, but not a lot of people buying. And so one thing that I really like that he has is this app called Every Dollar, and it's a free app. There is a pro version, but basically it's just a budgeting app. And this is not me. I wish I brought in that much a month, but I don't. So, anyways, you put in your what you make, obviously, and then you put in all your expenses. And I think it's just a really good way to keep track of, because when you can see your money right in front of you and you see where it's going, and then you can decide, okay, am I spending more than I should? What are unnecessary costs and stuff like that? So, if anything, I think he provides a pretty useful app to help say, or keep an eye on your money, and give you the deciding power on if you wanted to save so much, what could you cut out to do it, or how can you be creative to save money?
I don't know. Do you use this? Do you use Every Dollar?
Yes.
Do they, in the free version, do you have the free version or do you have the paid version?
Yeah, I have the free version, because the paid version, like, you can connect your bank and stuff like that, and I don't.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. So, again, I'm lazy. And so things like this where I have to put in every transaction I make, I just don't keep up with it like I should. Kind of the same with the planners. So they do have apps, like you mentioned, you can pay for this one and get it to where you can link your accounts. And then I believe I had the trial version of this. I believe that at that point you still have to tell it which budgeting category everything needs to go to. But it does at least pull in the amounts for you and everything. But they do also have things like Mint is free, and you can link your accounts, and then it puts it in a category for you, and then you can always change it or add new categories, whatever. And then there are so many budgeting apps now if you do want to pay, but Mint is a good one. If you're lazy like me and can't keep up, that will at least pull in your transactions for you, so you don't have to do that step.
I use TrueBill, which is good, especially if sometimes you randomly subscribe to things and forget, like like a free trial of it, and then you forget and it charges you every month, and you're like, what is this? Because like on your if I check my account, it'll be like some random thing, but TrueBill kind of shows you what it actually is. So,
Yeah.
And you can unsubscribe from there. You don't have to go to a website and figure it out. Remember your password. Whatever. So I really like it.
That sounds like a really helpful app. Also, if you cancel your free trial the moment you get a free trial, I believe most things will let you run the trial until. But yeah, that's something a lot of I've even was like, what? I mean, Alex, I know Alex has done it with.
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, Fortnite. Their monthly subscription. And every time I would get the notification, I'd be at work or something. And be like, dang, I need to cancel that when I get home, and then I just forget. So I had it for 7 months without being able to, or without remembering to cancel it.
But with TrueBill, you can do that right in the app.
I'm not a millionaire or anything, but just having that way to see your money, and beforehand, my wife and I would get into arguments a lot of just hey, where'd this money go, blah 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 blah, and it's caused less argument. And if you are married, being on top of your money is a good thing.
So my daily mistake was I put lackadaisical, because I like that word. It's a big word. Which basically means being lazy or being unmotivated. And for me, it helps to write down goals. I'm old school and I like to use pen and paper. Actually, I should get a planner, actually. Yeah, just write down goals and steps you can do to help you get to those goals, like daily things. And like if you also find yourself like just highly unmotivated and where everything just seems kind of overwhelming to do, it's helped me to just write down a list of things that need to get done and just do, one or two a day.
So you talking about like stuff to do like around the house, or
yeah, it could be if you so unmotivated that you feel like the daily chores around the house just become too much. Just write down what needs to be done and do one or two a day. Or for me right now, my goals are for my reselling business. So I have short-term goals that I want to reach. Make a certain amount of money each month, and then what do I need to do to get there, which would be if I want to make, say, $500 a month, I need to list 20 items a day so that I'm selling at least 10 items, 5 to 10 items, and have a price range of those items that you want to list. So I've got, I may have to do more sourcing to find better items, so on and so forth. So
what was that moment where you were just like, maybe I should just start writing stuff? Like, at what point were you just like, I'm gonna do this and change,
For me, like, I guess a lot of my ideas will come to me randomly. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, I should do that later. And then, just completely forget, or like, what was it that I needed to do? So I just started writing them down. I mean, either maybe in the moment it's in the notes app on my phone. But for me, having like written down on a piece of paper somewhere, like on my nightstand or somewhere that, I will see it every day. It's a good reminder.
Something I learned, this may not be something everyone thinks of very often, but in my counseling, therapy, whatever you want to call it, my therapist taught me a thing called the 10-minute rule. And whenever it comes to lacking motivation, especially, it seems to work for me. If I really know I need to get something done and I really don't want to do it, if I'll just commit to doing it for 10 minutes, 90% of the time I end up finishing whatever I start. It's just getting started that a lot of people get hung up on. So that's really been helpful for me. If I commit to do it for 10 minutes, and then if I get to the end of 10 minutes and I still really don't want to do it, then that's fine. I did my 10 minutes. But most of the time, I end up finishing what I started. The biggest daily mistakes that I've made, I have two of them, but they kind of go together. Whenever it comes to my mental health, and they are that I have believed that everything gets better with time. Basically, wait out the storm kind of thing. If life sucks right now, as long as I wait long enough, as long as I don't give up, then things are going to get better. And then also that if I have enough faith in God, if I have enough faith that He's all powerful and can do whatever He wants, then things will get better. And both of these are taught in ways by the church, but in ways they can be useful. But to me, they definitely were not. I would get down whenever things wouldn't eventually turn around. I would think that I was doing something wrong, or I wasn't doing enough spiritually correct, or whatever the case. Things that I started doing that really helped me feel better were counseling. I started going to counseling once every other week, which can be expensive. But we have a resource video out there, Jay-Z does, so check out those resources if you feel like counseling is just too expensive or not practical. They have ways that you can do counseling through video, on the phone, for people that are like me and travel a lot for work. And they definitely have some resources for making it more affordable. And then other things, simple things like just either walking or working out 30 minutes a day. I really started working out and was really feeling better about myself for 30 minutes to an hour a day. And then I broke my wrist, of course. And so I was only able to walk a little bit. But physical things like that, I think you guys have already touched on it too. But another the last big thing that I did was setting and achieving goals. That has been huge, especially whenever I had a broken wrist and wasn't able to do a whole lot physically or otherwise, and wasn't working. I was just sitting around a lot. So I made a lot of goals to learn new things, like coding, go back to school, which I'm about to start, things like that. And that's a pretty big goal, to go back to school and get a degree, but not saying it has to be anything huge, but just setting and achieving goals it makes you feel so much better in your head. And I think one of the great things about the planners and the making list that these other guys were talking about is even if you accomplish something small, that seems small to you, that as those little steps can lead to, for one, a better life, but for two, a better headspace. You believe in yourself more with every goal that you achieve. I think that's a great starting place.
So you talked about how I was in that same boat too, that everything will just get better with time.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think? Why do people believe that? And why does that not work for people?
For one, it's a very common cliche that we hear. And for two, you always hear things like in the Christian hemisphere, you always hear things like God will never give you more than you can handle. And so if that's true, then as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, eventually this has to go away, right? Because God wouldn't have given this to me if I couldn't handle it.
That is definitely one of the most used phrases, but also not accurate.
Yeah. And then you hear things like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if that's the case, and as long as I can just make it through this, then I'm all good. But that's not a healthy place. It does you no good, because all you're doing is putting off the pain. You're saying, as long as I can deal with this pain for now, then tomorrow it's going to be better, and that's not always true.
What was the second lie you believed?
Enough faith removes obstacles and problems, so you won't have struggles as long as you have enough faith, or you'll be able to get through your struggles as long as you have enough faith.
Yeah, I mean, did we not hear that all the time? And I don't understand why that's even a thing. Why? Because I don't believe anybody. I don't believe there's one person that doesn't struggle with anything.
Right. And I know that there were a group of people in school that we went to school with that very much acted like they believed in name it and claim it, even if they really didn't, or didn't to the extent that they portrayed. But in those types of things, it's like, if you just say that it's okay, then it's going to be okay. And that's not how the world really works. Just saying that I'm not really struggling doesn't make it true. And that goes back to make you think that if I've talked about it 10 times during this series, but if I'm struggling with I don't know what it even was, depression, grief, whenever Tyler died, I mean, whenever everyone else is saying, if you just say that you feel okay, then you're going to feel okay. And if you say that God has favor on you and is going to take this away from you, then he's going to, and then that doesn't happen and you're still struggling, it just leads to self-condemnation of you saying that I am not worthy of God's love, or I'm not doing enough to earn God's love. And that's the complete opposite of the gospel.
I mean, when that happened, that event happened, when I got the news that he had passed away, I've not used this mindset anymore. I've strayed away from it, but I've always thought that, every moment had a reason for it, and God was behind everything, of orchestrating events and stuff like that. And it's just I try to use that event as try to persuade myself to thinking that maybe God wanted to teach me something, and that's just totally not true. A bad thing happened, and it's not I've learned that we're not always supposed to just think of positive stuff. It's okay to be sad and grieve.
Sometimes life sucks. And that's just the way it is. It has nothing to do with us having enough faith or whatever the case. Sometimes life just sucks.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about how, when Tyler was going through all that, and, as much faith as Tyler had, and that we believed that God would heal him. And then when things got really bad, it was kind of like the prayer. I feel like the prayer changed from God to heal him to just God, let your will be done. Sadly, unfortunately, even if it is Tyler's time to go, but I don't know. It's in a sense, maybe we use that so we don't question our faith, as to why God didn't heal him.
And I'm sure, God does heal people still, but it's I can't wrap my head around some people being healed and others not.
Right.
For me, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with however people want to believe, but just know that something tragic like that does happen. It's okay to grieve, and it's okay to seek support for that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the big part to me, is seek help. I just waited out 7-10 years of my life just thinking it's going to be better eventually, and I never felt better until recently through a lot of counseling. Of course, by then it had compounded. That's the other thing too. If you feel down, if you feel you're really struggling with grief, or you're really struggling with depression, or you're really struggling with anxiety, and you just put that off, all you're doing is compounding that on itself. And so whenever you finally get to a breaking point, and there will be a breaking point, there definitely was with me, then it's going to be much more painful for you and for everyone around you if you don't get the help that you need. And I'm so thankful now to be back in a space where I feel like myself again, and I'm not anxious about the future or the past. I'm not depressed. I finally learned to handle my grief whenever it comes, and but all of that was much more painful because I put it off, because I decided to wait, because I kept trusting that if I had enough faith in God, it would eventually go away on its own. And maybe for some people it does, but the chances are that you're going to be much more hurt than you're going to feel better if you don't try and help yourself, if you don't seek out counseling or whatever, whatever makes different people feel better. We've kind of touched on a lot of them, but that's my 2 cents.
That kind of goes with the, we talk about like, it'll get better in time. Like, that only applies if you are working towards the solution of, your issues. It's just like, working out, you won't see your desired goal right away, but over time, if you are taking those steps to do the necessary things, then eventually you'll get to where you feel better about, where you are. Yeah, these solutions, I mean, they, I know for even my goal setting stuff, or even my planner, took me a while just to even get used to it. Actually, the disciplines to writing out your schedule, what my goals are, sometimes looking at the months. I don't get through all my stuff, but as time goes on, and then I start to see, well, I have the same goal written down every month. Maybe I should start doing something about it. And then eventually you get that stuff done. So if you guys found this helpful, check out our mental health series that we've been doing all month long. And next month we are starting our deconstruction series, which I'm pretty excited about. All kind of all over the, not all over the place, but we're going to cover quite a bit. If you have any questions on deconstruction, or I guess just wait till we talk about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions. Also, if you guys want to discuss what we talked about more, we do have a Facebook group. Just search Mad Christianity on Facebook and request to join, and we will probably let you in depending on what your agenda is. So anyways, we will see you guys next time, and remember to keep loving God and love people.